The eyeball is what contains the photoreceptors that are going to be able to absorb light energy and turn that light energy into action potentials. When we look at the structure of the eyeball, we have 3 layers. The outermost layer is what is referred to as the fibrous tunic. And it would include the white part of the eye, which is called your sclera. So this is the white part of the eye. This part of the eye is not vascular, so it means that there's no blood supply. It's connective tissue, and there is blood supply to the conjunctiva, but there's none to the sclera itself. And there's no blood vessels going into it, but there is another layer underneath it, which we'll talk about in a minute, which is the vascular layer, which does have blood supply. Okay, this also includes the cornea. So the cornea has lots of pain receptors. So if you've ever scratched your cornea, you know that it just hurts really bad. And that is a protective mechanism so that you're not constantly scratching your cornea. You're like, I'm not going to scratch my cornea, right? Once you do it, you're like, no, I'm going to protect my eyes as best I can. So the cornea is transparent. It also does not have a circulatory system to it. And so this is one part of the eye that is very easily transplanted from one person to another. If you get a cornea transplant, it is not going to be rejected by the body because there is no blood supply to it. So that's the outermost layer. We have the middle layer, and this is my vascular tunic. This does have blood supply to it, and it is dark in color. This includes your iris, which is a smooth muscle. So this is the colored part of your eye. It controls the diameter of the pupil. This part of the eye, the middle layer, also includes, and I'll write it over here, the ciliary body. And an outer rim, ciliary body. So this controls the shape of the lens. So this is also smooth muscle. It controls the shape of the lens. And that is important for looking at things far away and looking at things close, which is referred to as accommodation. Okay, so let's look at these 2 layers in your diagram. The outer layer, the sclera right here. This is actually where your eye muscles attach to, the ones that consciously allow you to roll your eyes or look down or look up or side to side. So this would be actually a skeletal muscle that controls the movement of your eyeball, conscious movement of your eyeball. This inner layer is the vascular layer. And so it is going to supply nutrients and oxygen to the sclera. And it is sometimes referred to as the choroid. So let's write that one down to a middle layer, vascular tunic, and it is called the choroid. Okay, so the iris is located right here. Oops, excuse me, right here and right here. It can change its diameter of the pupil. The pupil is just the space through which light enters the eye. So that pupil is just shown right here. This structure here we'll talk about is the lens, and it is what is going to focus light onto the back of the eye, the light rays. We can see the outer cornea right here. That's the one that hurts really bad if you scratch it. And then we can see this ribbon-like structure called the ciliary body, and it has these suspensory ligaments that connects to the lens and actually can stretch the lens and flatten it back out, or release the lens and the lens bulges. So the changing of the shape of the lens allows us to accommodate looking far or near. There is a third layer, which is this yellow colored layer, and it is nervous tissue, and it is referred to as the retina, and that is where the photoreceptors are located. So let's talk about that innermost layer. It is nervous tissue. It contains the photoreceptors. And these are the specialized modified neurons that are able to detect light energy and to transduce that light energy into an action potential. And then sending that via the nerve that goes in, what would that be called? The optic nerve that goes in, and then to your optic, your visual cortex, which is in the back of your head. So that is the layer that contains the photoreceptors. So we're going to talk about those photoreceptors in the next lecture.